The nation's fastest family of networks welcomes you to the new Kentucky Speedway for race 16 of the 2001 NASCAR Busch Series season. Tonight, under the lights, the Outback Steakhouse 300. Let's get out trackside where they're ready to roll. We've met one of the three combatants for the championship, Jeff Green. Let's meet the other two, starting with Matt Yoakum.
Mike, at 9:15 this morning, Kevin Harvick was in Pocono, Pennsylvania, practicing his Winston Cup car. Mike Bliss was here and crashed his primary car. They had to go to a backup. Kevin, this is your backup car. You did get a chance to happy hour. What about your thoughts now?
Well, I mean, these guys have done a great job putting the car together, and first 2 laps we made in 2 days were in qualifying, so we're back here in 11th, and we got it pretty good in happy hour, and this car's already won a couple races for us, so maybe we'll just make it a little more exciting, hopefully.
Harvick will start 11th, looking for his first win since March in the Busch Series. Jeff?
Another guy's got a tall order here tonight is Greg Biffle. Had a good run and won a truck race here about a year ago, but now, Greg, you find yourself back here at the back. How's your car?
Well, our car's really good. You know, we were second in happy hour, but I just screwed up qualifying. We got the wrong front sway bar in it, and I just feel bad. We got a really good car, and we really got to take it easy and get up to the front.
Well, let's have a really good race. What do you think, Mike Joy?
I think it will be. We've seen some changes since the teams came and tested here, though. Darrell Waltrip, a change in the tire, and this has been a treacherous track for some drivers this weekend.
Well, it really has, and some of the drivers are complaining about the tires. When you don't have the grip, if the tires are not gripping the track, then it makes the track seem bumpy, and some of the guys are complaining about some bumps in turn 3.
Nipper Alsop crashing on his second lap of qualifying. Jeff Falk, the number 8 car, also crashed, and Jeffrey Bodine crashed 2 different cars. Also, Jeff Fuller crashed the Joe Nemechek car, and they loaded up and went home. So, man, it's been a tough weekend.
And you know, when you come to a new racetrack, now a lot of these teams have been up here and tested. Boy, Bodine tore the heck out of that car. When you come here to test and you expect something, and you come back, they've changed the tires. Everybody tested on the Vegas tire, and now they're on a different tire, and it's changed everything.
So a few unknowns for our first trip to Kentucky Speedway, and we're about to get things underway. So let's go trackside for tonight's opening ceremonies.
Pastor Ron Lassley, Kentucky Speedway track chaplain. Let me introduce to you Pastor Ron.
Would you join me in prayer, please? Father, we take a minute to thank you for the people who had the vision to make this place a reality. What an awesome facility it is. We thank you for this awesome day. We pray for your protection and your safety on all involved today. In the blessed 3 in 1, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Please remain standing to honor America. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Arista recording artist Brad Paisley.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the moment you've been waiting for all day to deliver the most famous phrase in NASCAR. I present to you the Grand Marshal of the Kentucky Speedway tonight in the Outback Steakhouse 300, Cincinnati Bengals running back Corey Dillon.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
coming into this, race 16. B1B flyover. Oh, that's banking.
I love that.
Kevin Harvick.
That's a beautiful thing.
Kevin 75 up on Jeff Green. Greg Biffle within about 100. Jason Keller, Mike McLaughlin there in 5th. Purvis, Raines, Jimmy Johnson, Elton Sawyer, and Randy LaJoie. We're going racing Saturday night in Kentucky. Stick around. There's horsepower, and then there's air power. There's banking, and then there's banking.
Man, look at that thing.
How'd you like to do that?
I would ride in that. It's big enough I would feel comfortable in that. I wouldn't want to ride in one of those little things like Hammond rides in. One of those little fighters.
Let's have a look at the Castrol starting grid for tonight's race. Jay Sauter has his first Busch Series pole and comes in his 48th start. He's the 8th pole sitter of the season. There's Travis Quapple in his first Busch Series race next to Tim Fedowa, first time in that car. Phil Parsons is back.
Yay, Phil.
Jason Keller right with him. Mike McLaughlin up there in the points with Bobby Hamilton Jr. Elton Sawyer, 5th at Nashville. Ashton Lewis. Kevin Harvick doing the double duty. And Clay Rogers making his 5th start. Kelly Denton, good qualifying effort. And Tim Sauter, the fastest rookie. Hank Parker Jr., California winner with Christian Elder. Jeff Purvis with Randy LaJoie, the Daytona winner. Stedman Marlin makes his 4th start in the Busch Series, and Jimmy Johnson with 5 top 10s this year. Ricky Hendrick, 18th at Charlotte, and Larry Foyt, 12th at Talladega, his season best. Kentucky and Mark Green is back, along with Tony Raines. Then it's David Green, former champion with Jamie McMurray. Kevin Grubb, a Kentucky team there with AJ or Nipper Alsop, 72. Joe Ruttman makes his first Busch Series start in 8 years. Kerry Earnhardt, the ARCA winner at Michigan. Ron Hornaday III in his first Busch Series race, and David Donahue. Shane Hall from South Carolina and rookie Scott Wimmer. 59-year young Dick Trickle making his 158th start, and Marty Houston, a rookie, 4th in the truck race last year for Houston. Greg Biffle won that race, but he takes a provisional tonight with former champ Chad Little. Kenny Wallace out in the back. It's the Outback race. Guess I could say that back there in provisional land with Rich Bickle, Jeffrey Bodine, Brad Teague, and Brad Baker from Nashville.
Yeah, you got Bodine, Jeffrey Bodine, you got Joe Ruttman, and you got Dick Trickle. That's a lot of experience right there, Mike.
Quite a lot. The 43 cars will go 200 laps to make up 300 miles tonight. 65 to 70 laps between pit stops. Means that you could almost make it on 2 stops if things fall just right.
Yeah, you might be able to. What I like is that purse. That's a big purse for these guys. A lot of money to be made here tonight.
Jeff Purvis, the MBNA cam on board car number 18. Hank Parker, the GNC number 36. And that is Clay Rogers. Visine cam with a clear view from number 17. This looks like Mike McLaughlin. 1.5-mile racetrack. It's banked only 14 degrees. 8 along the front stretch, 4 along the back stretch, and the track is set in an amphitheater. It's in a bowl, so that even the front row seats down low, the chicken bone seats they call them at Wilkesboro, can see the entire racetrack. Pretty neat.
Yeah, it is. Those seats are elevated, and then the back straightaway is elevated, and it gives them a great view of the entire racetrack.
AJ Alsop, number 72, will start in the rear. You saw his crash on the 2nd lap of qualifying. He's in a backup, so he goes to the back.
Yeah, they got a pretty formation as they're coming around turn 4 here, getting ready to come down to take the green flag. Everybody's looking pretty racy here. Let's strap them in. Let's tighten them up. Let's buff them off. Let's get ready to go racing a little boogity down into turn 1. Boys, hang on.
Stock car Saturday night on FX. Green flag. We're racing in Kentucky. Jeff Green, Kentucky boy, wants to lead that first lap.
Boy, he did. He drove that thing down on the outside. This track's known to have 2 or 3 grooves and had a lot of practice since it rained yesterday. But boy, that looked good on the outside. Great pass. Guys were telling me, Mike, that turn 3 giving them problems qualifying, but the race set up there pretty good.
3 wide.
Coming off 1 around. Hang on to her, hang on to her.
Oh, David Donahue.
I don't think he ever, I don't think he ever hit the wall, Mike. I think he did a pretty good job of keeping it out of the fence.
Jeff Green, Owensboro, Kentucky native, will lead that first lap as we stay green.
If he brushed that wall, if he hit that wall, he just brushed it.
Turn 2. Another car around. No contact. Another save. That's 41, Ronnie Hornaday the third. So we stay green, and again they're 3 wide off the corner in the middle of that pack.
And it's real easy to do. That turn really opens up as you exit that corner. Got a high line, a middle line, and a low line, and you can really get racy off of there. I think these guys are having a little bit of trouble getting up out of the groove. It's still a little dirty in that second lane. They got to watch that until they get that brushed off. Ooh, look at Harvick.
Harvick on the move.
He is on the move, too. He dropped that thing underneath it going down into turn 3 and made the pass.
About 9 cars have broken away at the front of this pack. And there's a gap behind McLaughlin to Bobby Hamilton Jr.
A couple of laps here, get the tire pressure built up. Starter pressure's pretty low. Guys haven't been on the track since about 1 o'clock. It's going to cool down. This thing's going to get faster and faster and faster. A lot of good racing going on, Mike.
I'm not sure if Greg Biffle had problems on the start or he just got caught up behind those spins and had to check up. But Darrell, he's about a third of a lap behind the leader and way back.
Yeah, I think he might have seen those cars spin and he had to check up a little bit, and that's really cost him a lot of track position right now, and he's going to have to step it up.
A caution flag, someone else's caution flag, will cure that as he works around the outside of Dick Trickle.
Everybody's minding their manners pretty well those first couple of spins. Everybody's trying to get single file. I think we'll see a second group come in after the cars run a while. This is a fast racetrack, right? You really come up out of that turn 4. You got a lot of room to maneuver. You get a lot of speed as you enter turn 1.
So Jeff Green, your leader, but the hot rod on the racetrack is 4 spots behind him. At number 2. Man, started 11th, moved himself up to 5th place.
Got cars sideways over there off of turn 2, but everybody made it.
Another save.
Holy cow.
That was David. Was that David Green?
I think it was. They got a couple of them hooked together over there, and they were smoking tires, or they were smoking sheet metal, I should say.
A lot of driver changes this week in the NASCAR Busch Series. You saw 0-0 there. That's Tim Fedewa, released by the C.C. Welliver team in favor of Jeff Bodine. Picked up a ride with the Billy Jones team, Buckshot team. And Fedewa responded with a great qualifying effort. Top 5.
Well, we know that's a great race car. The car's won a couple of races. Maybe Jeff, can you bring some speed on Harvick down there?
Yes, I can, Darrell. I talked to Todd Barry just before the start of the race. I said, hey, guys, what do you think about your car? He said, hey, we really don't know. We ran this car at Bristol, but because we didn't get a chance to run it during the night session, we put a different type of setup underneath it from the car that we originally brought here. We believe it's going to be pretty good, but if we need to, we can change the car around rather easily and get it back like the car that we unloaded with originally.
I wouldn't be doing a whole lot to it right now. That baby's on the move. But it better be, because look how far Jeff Green is stretched out already. He's got himself a pretty comfortable lead. I tell you, this is he feels like this is home track, Jeff does, and he really wants to win this race tonight, to be the inaugural Busch winner here at Kentucky Speedway.
Well, you saw the risk he took on the outside in turn 1 just to lead the first lap, just to be able to say he led the first lap ever run here.
And if we were down in the garage, we'd be saying, man, he packed her in there.
Yes, he did. Darrell, I'd imagine first time to a racetrack, you'd have to build a lot of adjustability into your race car.
Yeah, there's so many unknowns. And again, we talked about the tires. This is the Dover Atlanta tire. Pretty hard for this track with this little bit of banking. So the guys have worked hard on their setups, and they've got spring rubbers everywhere.
Jason Keller for second place against the pole sitter, number 43, Jay Sauter. And now here comes Fedewa underneath Sauter. Back straight away. Looking in is Harvick.
Harvick's got the position, and around the bottom there seems to be the preferred line for everybody. Following Fedewa through. Makes the pass. Big wide front straightaway here. He could run 10 cars wide through this front straightaway. Problem is, it tightens up a little bit when you get to turn 1.
Another of those driver changes, the number 21, the Richard Childress car. Travis Coapo out of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Behind the wheel tonight in place of Mike Dillon, or rather Mike Skinner, who replaced Mike Dillon several races ago.
Confusing, isn't it?
I need a program.
That's right. Boy, Green just continues to drive off from these other guys back here, and his teammate's not doing a bad job either. Jeff Green's running pretty good, isn't he, Matt?
Yes, he is, Darrell. I talked to Harold Howley before the start of the race. He said they're going to set the car up a little bit free. Practice this afternoon was about 135 degrees track temperature. It should be about 80 to 85 later on tonight. This track will tighten up, so a number of teams started a little bit on the free side. And that's what I'm hearing up and down pit road. Everybody's saying their car's just a little bit free right now. The crew chief's saying, don't worry, it will come back to you.
Turns 1 and 4 in the whole front straightaway now in shade. There you see Green break out into the sunshine, still in turns 2 and 3 in the backstretch. So the sun begins to set on Kentucky Speedway. We'll be right back here on FX. 12 laps complete. Caution is out here at Kentucky Speedway for the first time tonight. And it comes out on lap 16, and there's the reason why. Clay Rogers spun it in turn number 3, which Darrell has been calamity corner all weekend, and backed it up into the wall.
Yeah, it has. It's a little bumpy getting into turn 3. Most of the guys felt like in race conditions and race setup they were going to be fine, but he got that thing around big time, and I think we got an in-car camera with him. We might be able to see what's going on here.
Jeff, heavy damage on that left rear.
I'm telling you, he's really hit it hard with the left rear. The car appears it's going to have a trailing arm, possibly rear end housing. The crew's looking underneath it right now. Totally disgusted. You can tell by the look on their faces. This car is going to have to go behind the pit wall if they expect to, get the repairs done to get this car back on the racetrack.
Earlier,
I'd say so. That's pretty serious on the left side there. Look at bad on the right. Oh. Maybe we can see what happened here. He's got an in-car camera. Let's see what we can see. Coming down the back here, he's driving in. He's out of the throttle. Ooh, looked like the back end, just nobody around him. Didn't look like he drove it in that hard. A lot of guys were telling me that corner is deceptive, that you can just drive down in there and you think you can drive it way in, but the cars get loose.
Now that is where the tunnel is to access this turn, and we saw that car take just a little hop,
yep,
and then away it went.
Yeah.
We're under caution for the first time tonight in the Outback Steakhouse 300. We're under caution at lap 18. Here's another look from the Visine onboard cam, the roof cam on Clay Rogers.
He come off turn 2, started down the back. Car looks good. I was looking at a couple of spots up on the windshield. Don't see them. Yeah, there's a couple little spots popped up there, but nothing serious. Mike, you said you looked like the car moved a little bit on him.
Looked like it had a little hop and a second hop, and then away it went.
That's, if you got a bump on the racetrack, how about it, Jeff? What are they telling you down there?
Well, we called up here with Clay Rogers. Clay, the guys in the booth want to know what happened.
Well, we were pretty loose to start out with, and the car seemed like it was getting better and better every lap, and we run up on that group there behind us, and I don't know, it just snapped loose on me getting in. I don't know. I mean, I was backing myself up, getting in the corners. I don't feel like I did anything to drive in too hard and lose it, but that's beside the point. I backed it in the wall, and I didn't have any help, so I just hate it for these Visine guys. They work really hard. This car is the same car we got wrecked in the race with at Nashville, and it came back twice as good, and I just hate it. This is really going to hurt them in the points.
All right, thank you, Clay. I think we're going back green. Mike Joy.
Clay Rogers, whose best finish this season, 18th at Rockingham. Finishing cleanup from the first caution of the evening. We'll be right back to Kentucky. They've just taken the green flag for the restart. Only one car in the garage, Clay Rogers, and only one car a lap down, Ronnie Hornaday, who had made a pit stop under green following his actually didn't spin. He got loosened it all up, and they made a stop to correct that a little later under green. So now we are back under green, and the field is under green. Jeff Green, that is, leads them off turn 4.
And Green wants to take the green home. He wants to leave it in Kentucky on this night. It's funny how the cars, everybody seems to be getting around so well, but as we saw Clay Rogers, the car just snapped loose on him getting into turn 3. But everybody seems to be able to run 2 wide pretty comfortably right now.
And 3 wide off that 4th corner. Jay Sauter, our pole sitter. Currently, he's running in 6th place. What's up, Matt?
Jay Sauter keeps falling in positions, Mike, because his car is a little tight in the center of the corner. He told his crew chief, Gene Need, he's going to try to adjust his line to help the handling of that race car until they pit on their first scheduled pit stop somewhere around lap 65 to 70. To Jeff.
Yeah, Matt, the same thing down here for Greg Biffle. His car is not quite right. First part of the race, it was super loose because of heat in the tires, but it kind of got what he called a tight loose, leaving the exit of the corners. He called back and told Randy Goss, I need to be able to move up to get my line better off the corner, but I need to wait until we get a little more rubber laid down. Look for Greg Biffle to come to the front after his first pit stop, about lap 65 also.
One of the things that the guys are telling me is that they're a little apprehensive. New racetrack, they're not sure about what the track's going to do or what it's going to be like. Some guys have got their cars way, way, way too tight, and they know it, but they hope they'll be able to adjust that out of them before the night's over. They're a little gun shy, Mike. I mean, we wrecked several cars here practicing. There's Harvick on the move.
Going after Tim Fidoa for 3rd place. Well, this place isn't packed, is it, Darryl?
I tell you what, there's 71,000 folks here tonight. That's a pretty nice crowd for a Busch race. That's a nice crowd for any race.
And plenty of room to build more seats should the need arise.
We have people standing by to build 70,000 more. If we ever need them. Oh my gosh.
Jamie McMurray just about made the down payment on the farm in rural Kentucky because he was right smack in the middle and all loosened up.
Yeah, he's dropping back still even more because he's trying to catch his breath. That was a pretty breathtaking move there.
I want to see that again.
But they come off the corner, Biffle on the inside, and man, they're going by me left and right. That's a spotter's nightmare. I can't clear you anywhere, bud. I'm sorry.
Mark Green going by, Chad Little.
That's what happens when you get, I mean, he had to get up out of the throttle, and when he did, boy, they freight trained him. I think his car's all right, and nothing's wrong with the car. He just got out of position. Kind of like getting in the wrong lane on the interstate, you know?
Yeah. Ashton Lewis, and that car he's battling is a new one to the series. That's Phil Parsons in a 2nd car out of the Kerry Agajanian team. He's teammate to our pole sitter, number 43, Jay Sauter. And looking back from Jeff Purvis at that battle, Purvis has moved on, moved up into 8th, I think that's 7th place.
Yeah, that car, 97 car last night, that would have been appropriate because it poured here last night. But boy, I tell you, we got a beautiful evening for racing right now.
Phil Parsons has, Marcia has twins here. He has 3-year-old twins. They're the cutest little towheads, and they've got a birthday this weekend, and Phil's is next week, so they're here to help their dad celebrate Father's Day tomorrow.
Yeah, they came over to see Uncle Darryl this afternoon. Yeah. I was happy about that. They're very good friends of Stevie and I, and they're great parents.
Ashton Lewis, whose best finish this year, 11th at Texas, trying to work over Phil Parsons and move up on the inside. Elton Sawyer right in the middle of the screen, right behind him. 98. It's a pretty good scrap here from 9th place on back.
You know, a guy that I've been watching, and he's moving up through the field. He's doing a pretty darn good job, and he's got experience at this track. He might be a factor for this night's over with. And Joe Ruttman back in that 1 car. Spencer's been driving that car, but Ruttman's in it tonight. That truck racing, it might pay off for him here tonight, Mike.
Gosh, Joe Ruttman has been up and down the NASCAR ladder several times in a long and storied career. Had a 2nd at Talladega, led the white flag lap at Talladega for Harry Ranier. And he's won a lot of races since joining Bobby Hamilton's Dodge truck team.
I would say he was getting his 2nd win, but I think he's way past that.
Oh, he's not bad his 18th win.
He lives in Franklin, Tennessee. I run into him occasionally, he and Peggy.
He's the younger brother, of course, of Troy Ruttman, who won the Indy 500 back in 1952.
1952.
But as Joe always reminds us, he's Troy's much younger brother.
Much younger. That's Biffle just up ahead of Ruttman there, trying to get around another car or two.
And here's Purvis. Jay Sauter in tow, moving up on the 21, which this weekend is Travis Quaffle.
You know, I believe we'll see some, I think we'll see some cars that are maybe not running that great right now really get going good here before the night's over with. When the sun goes down, the track cools off a little bit, this place gets really, really racy.
How about Purvis? He's gained 10 spots since this race started.
That's like my old Kentucky home.
Up front, Jeff Green now is not getting away. The car chasing him is his teammate, Jason Keller.
Not too far behind those two cats is a guy that's after him. That 2 car of Harvick's.
You know, and Jason Keller is only 130 points out of the lead. Wouldn't it be interesting if it came down to dueling teammates for that championship?
Well, they finished 1st and 2nd last year, so they very well could do it again this year, only maybe a little closer.
Wow, Purvis sends it in there.
Woo, I'll tell you. Nothing wrong with the outside of that turn.
Nope. Travis had to check up a bit and fall in behind Elton Sawyer.
That's when the spotter has to be on that button, man. He has to tell that driver, oh, look out, outside.
Yeah.
Thought you told me they couldn't pass on the outside.
Ashton Lewis goes by. Tim Sauter there in the 61 has caught that group. His brother Jay just 2 cars ahead.
I think right now most of the drivers are probably communicating with their crews or crew chiefs, trying to anticipate what they want to do to these cars, either on the green flag stop or when they get another caution flag.
McLaughlin, and that's Tony Raines looking back from Mike McLaughlin. Mike said he likes this racetrack. He says, he told me this afternoon, he thinks when they get a little rubber down here, about 50 or 60 laps in, this place will get real racy, and it'll be at least a 2-groove racetrack.
Well, from what we've seen here with the truck race, ARCA race, all pros had great finishes here, side-by-side finishes. This track is very conducive to good side-by-side 2 and 3 abreast racing. I think one of the things these guys have got to get over is the fact that a lot of them have had trouble in qualifying. And they've wrecked a couple of 3 cars, and that always makes you a little apprehensive. You got to get some confidence in the racetrack. Know where the groove is, know how hard you can drive the corners. That's always the case with any new racetrack.
Hank Parker looking back at Bobby Hamilton, a couple of juniors, and Greg Biffle on the move.
That's a great shot. I like that.
Unless you're Hank Parker. Ashton Lewis Jr. having a look at 7th place Jay Sauter.
And a pretty good go of it. Pretty good run for Ashton Lewis. It's always funny to me how some guys come to a racetrack, brand new racetrack, and they say, man, I love this place. Other guys come to a brand new racetrack and say, man, I hate this place.
Well, Jason Keller has now caught his teammate Jeff Green. Matt?
Mike Green and Jason Keller, teammates, have never finished 1-2 in a Busch Series race. About 20 laps ago, Jason Keller spoke to his crew chief, Steve Addington, and said, my car is very loose. They talked about how to adjust this car in the first pit stop. Addington said, why don't you try adjusting the rear brake to fix it and see if that helps the car? He did, and it has.
Yeah, you don't use a lot of brake on a speedway like this, but if you have any rear brake on these cars, they're so light in the rear end getting into the corner, you've got to keep all the rear brake cranked out of it, and we have adjustments in the cockpit that allow us to do that. As fuel burns off, the tires wear down, you want less and less and less rear brake.
39 laps complete. Jeff Green leading teammate Jason Keller and Kevin Harvick in 3rd. Your NASCAR weekend on the Fox family of networks has just begun. Tomorrow morning, NASCAR this morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time. And then the Winston Cup race on Fox at 12:30 Eastern in NASCAR Victory Lane on the net at 9 o'clock Sunday night. Here at Kentucky, 44 laps complete. Ricky Hendrick battling the 54 of Kelly Denton and the 34 of David Green. Add Chad Little and Mark Green to that mix.
Talking about Ricky Hendrick.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, Mike, one of the guys that we looked early on to watch was Ricky Hendrick. He called in a little while ago and said, I'm having trouble with my brakes. Darrell was talking about not using a lot of brakes getting in the corner, but he had to call his spotter and say, I believe the right front is locking up and upsetting my car. Spotter called him back. I do not see a rotor glowing at this time, but Ricky said something is wrong with the balance of the brakes. It's upsetting the car getting in the corner.
Well, you're entering the corner here at probably 185 miles an hour, 80 to 85 miles an hour would be my guess. And any kind of brake grab or brake out of balance is going to really, really affect the race car of this race. And sometimes the car's not handling good. You got to use more and more and more brake. And the first thing you know, you find that you don't have them balanced out right. Good handling race car, you just ride in there, let off the gas, lay your foot over on the brake pedal, never really push it down, and keep digging on that throttle.
Kelly Denton going around Hendrick. David Green following him through in the 34. Mark Green, who's Davis and Wade team, will make the transition to Winston Cup a little later this year in the 55.
And you can see, Mike, the guys are getting a little higher and higher on the speedway all the time. A lot of cars have come up off that white line on the bottom, and they're starting to run the second, and even down here in 3 and 4, the third groove.
We talked about the green fields of Kentucky Bluegrass. First place, 23rd, and 24th.
Talked to their dad, David, down there before the race started, and he's a proud papa. Got all 3 boys in the race. Tomorrow's Father's Day. Life is good.
Well, the 2 teammates in the front now have some company because Kevin Harvick is right there with them.
And that's a product of going through some traffic. Harvick had actually fallen back a little bit, but they went through some traffic. Green and Keller got held up a little bit. It allowed Harvick to close up.
David Donahue's taken his Team Marines car to the garage area. He had a spin early that did not bring out the caution. And he joins Clay Rogers in the garage. Jeff Purvis, who you're riding with, quickest on this lap.
He's got a pretty good hot rod tonight.
Hey, look who was second fastest there. The 46, Ashton Lewis Jr., the kid out of Chesapeake, Virginia. It's a family racing operation. His dad owns the car. Charlie's the crew chief. And they need a sponsor to keep going. They've had a fast car. They've had good runs, and they've had bad luck. Your logo here. Now there's the website.
That's good advertising right there.
Well, I'd like to see him stay running. I mean, that is a quality team, and the young fellow's doing a good job.
Yeah, he's a great driver, and just need somebody to help him out. It's hard to run these things out of your pocket. You need a sponsor on there to help kind of pay the freight.
And he's been passing cars right along. He's up to 7th place.
Yeah, he's been real consistent. The car's looking good. It's handling well. As you can see, it's nice and low. Get that good run up off turn 4 here.
And you can see they make nice decals.
Yeah, they do.
They just need a different logo on there.
And they probably paint the car any color you like.
They probably paint Ashton any color you'd like.
Right.
All right, Greg Biffle is also moving up. He's cracked the top 20 all the way up now to 14th position. Jeff?
Mike, he's done an excellent job working his way through the field, but he called in there a little while ago and he said, Randy, we got to do something about the windshield. The way the sun has gone down and the lights are at the track, I've got a glare that's really giving me a problem seeing down in the corner as well as exiting off the corner. He said, we got to do something about the tear-offs when we get in here for our first pit stop. So he's having a little bit of trouble seeing, even though he's doing an excellent job coming through the field.
The sun is coming from directly behind us, shining from the start-finish line across the backstretch, and it's now only really bright from the exit of turn 2 to the entrance of turn 3. So let's have a lap around. And,
yeah, let's hop inside this hot rod here and see if we can got any glare in our eyes.
It's Kenny Wallace that brings the Stratton on board.
Wallace.
It is.
Heading up the back straightaway here. Got a nice car. Got a car to draft off of. Get a little help here. Suck right up to him. Right about there is where right there is where they say it's a little bump. Doesn't seem to be bothering Kenny. He's right back down into the throttle. Comes up off the corner. Gets real close to that outside retaining wall right there. And here he comes. Whoa.
Tim and Jay Sauter around Shane Hall. McLaughlin right there too.
And you can see, Mike, these cars are starting to make 2 grooves off into turn 3 there, which is a good thing. That's going to make for some good racing later on.
Is racing the only endeavor where suck up is I mean, that's the right good thing to do?
Oh, it's a good thing to do. Suck up to the guy in front of you. Never thought about it that way.
I don't want to.
There's a lot of things that we say in racing that probably wouldn't be very appropriate in a lot of places.
Taken out of context.
Taken out of context.
You could be in trouble. 54 laps complete. 55 for Jeff Green go on the board. As they lap past Scott Wimmer, Jason Keller in second, Kevin Harvick third, and Tim Fedewise's first drive in the Buckshot car. He is fourth. Welcome back to Kentucky. Jeff Green the leader, Kevin Harvick for second place underneath Jason Keller. And Mike McLaughlin coming along here into the corner, and you'll see the Sodders say, let's see, outside, inside. Well, you take one, I'll take the other, and they split Shane Hall. With McLaughlin following through, the Sodder brothers are now 8th and 9th as Kevin Harvick sets off after leader Jeff Green.
I believe the track is, going through a transition right now, Mike, from the sun kind of setting now and the track temperature's falling. Going to see some cars that maybe wasn't running that well start to step it up a notch, and Harvick's one of them.
Jeff Green led 51 laps at Nashville. That's the most laps he has led in one race this year until tonight. Let's go back to the battle for 6th place. Alton Sawyer, Ashton Lewis Jr. Here comes the Virginia driver.
He wants to be sure that if you put that logo on there, he wants you to know you're going to run up front, because he's doing a good job of that tonight.
I can't say here comes they're both from Chesapeake, so I can't say here comes the Virginia driver. How about there goes the Virginia driver? A pair of them around Stedman Marlin, 3rd generation racer.
Stedman's not quite up to speed tonight. I'm not sure what his problem is. This car doesn't look like it's running that well for him.
And the 99 tonight, Kerry Earnhardt aboard the 99, fresh off his ARCA victory. Just getting past there.
That's brother Mike's car, Michael.
Yep.
He and Kerry got a little deal put together with Aaron's to run that car for a race or two. Nice looking old hot rod.
Yep.
Look better if he's running up front. I know Uncle Mike thinks so anyway.
A couple of 2nd generation drivers. Jay and Tim Sodder. Their dad Jim won a lot of races in the state of Wisconsin in the upper Midwest. Drove Winston Cup for the Miller brothers out of Random Lake, Wisconsin for many years.
Got a race for the lead here, Mike. Harvick just keeps inching in on Green. Looks like Green's car is starting to push up the hill just a little bit with him. I know she's coming off the corner a little iron. That time Harvick's taking a little wider line. It's going to get a little head of steam there, getting that high line off of turn 2.
Darrell, within about half a dozen laps, they're going to need to be on pit road.
Got to be curious to see. I guess I'm pretty sure here comes Joe Ruttman in the pits now, as a matter of fact, in the 1 car. I'm curious to see what everybody's pit strategy is. I would assume they'd all take 4 tires.
Now, of course, the caution flag gave them a few extra laps to be able to run. Somebody may be out of gas in turn 3. There's one car very slow down on the apron. Going to make its way around to the pits as the service is completed on Ruttman's car. The James Finch machine, Mark Reno and crew. And pit stops continue under Green. Randy LaJoie is in.
Jason Keller, he was the one.
Yeah, it was Jason.
I couldn't see for sure. It was Jason Keller that was going so slow, as if he may have been out of fuel.
Stedman Marlin's in. And let's go to Jeff and Randy LaJoie's pit.
Yeah, Randy LaJoie brings it down. His car normally doesn't get that good gas mileage. He told me earlier on this week that he'd probably be one of the first guys in. But Randy's been coming up through the field as of late. Checked his lap times a little while earlier. He was actually faster than the leader about the last 4 or 5 laps. Has moved up to 12th. The guys have just about got the left side up off. A little bit of a bobble on the left front there. Didn't get on like he needed to. Randy's down and away. But he does have a car that can win the race tonight from what I could see early on.
Jason Keller, they got both cans in it, but apparently he was out of gas. Trouble in turn 2, a car in the wall. Way up on the turn 2 wall. And hard, that is Ronnie Hornaday. Another 3rd generation driver. And the son of Winston Cutler, Ron Hornaday Jr. And that will put us under caution What a horrible break for Kenny Wallace, Randy LaJoie, David Green, Jay Sauter caught in the pits, Stedman Marlin, Christian Elder, and Marty Houston all made pit stops under green. Now we are under caution at lap 67 for Ronnie Hornaday.
I think Jason Keller may be one that also got bitten by that caution flag.
And he'd already gone a lap down, Darrell, when he ran out of gas.
Yeah, he was coasting real slow all the way from the back straightaway. So he
see Ronnie moving around in the car.
Ronnie had trouble in that corner at the start of the race. He got up high, and it never fails. Everybody's talked about turn 3, and that's kind of the treacherous corner, and kind of be careful there. And we have trouble in turn 1.
Hornaday, one of 3 drivers making their first ever Busch Series start today.
You can see that he's hit that wall very, very hard. It stunned him. He's sitting down beside his car there. Knocked the breath out of him, I'm sure. He's kind of holding his arm like it might have hurt his arm.
Catching his breath. Car pretty used up. Well, Jeff Green ahead of Kevin Harvick as they'll come on to pit road. And Tim Fedowa is the 3rd place car. 4th is Jeff Purvis. 5th Elton Sawyer. 6th Ashton Lewis. And 7th Tim Sauter as they come down pit road. Jeff Hammond's in Harvick's pit.
Yeah, Kevin brings his car into the attention of the crew. They make a really smooth, what looks to be a smooth stop so far. I tell you right now, you talking about the intensity right now. That Jack man is working very, very hard. He's trying to get things going in the back right there, and he's hustling around. Matt, how's it looking down on your end, buddy?
Jeff, the leader of the race, Jeff Green, is in his pit stall. There is some concern down here about the fuel mileage of his teammate, the 57 car of Jason Keller's. Kevin Harvick, 16.5 seconds, is down and away. They're talking about making a track bar adjustment on the 10 car. He was snug up off as a lengthy stop on the 10 car of Jeff Green. He loses a lot of positions on pit road.
Trouble for Kelly Denton on pit road. He came in and the car took a left into his pit stall as if instead of parallel parking it, he was pulling into his garage space.
Yeah, Green's
had to go around.
Green had lug nuts fall off the right rear there, and the right rear guy had a terrible time getting the tire on. Finally did. That's what took him so long. But we're under caution. Folks, you ain't going to miss anything. We'll be right back.
Some of the 72,000 happy fans here in Kentucky getting to see NASCAR Busch Series racing for the first time. Let's show you the tracks of Ron Hornaday's tiers here down at turns 1 and 2 as he has brought out the 2nd caution of the day.
Looks like something happened to the right front, cut a tire down or something. He hit the wall really hard right here. And as you can see, he just kind of skidded along right there to where he came to rest. But that was a very, very hard hit into that first turn wall. And I got to believe from looking at those marks that something happened to the right front. What about, Matt? You find out anything down there?
Well, Darrell, the big loser over this past caution flag stops was Jason Keller. He ran out of gas, went from 2nd to 32nd, 2 laps down. Steve Addington is his crew chief. Steve, were you surprised you ran out so soon?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we drained the gas out this afternoon and filled it back up to see how much it's picking up, and I don't know what's going on here. That's what we're trying to find out. Albertson's Ford was great. Just need to do a little few adjustments and we'd have had a shot at it. We're going to keep digging, though. We're not giving up.
He ran out on lap 65, which has given some concern to the team car, to the 57, the 10 of Jeff Green. Mike?
Getting set to go back to green. There is Keller on the inside. I think, Darrell, it's about time to show folks what all this horsepower and all these Kentucky fans sound like. Let's crank it up one on the restart.
Yeehaw, crank her up, guys.
Daryl, these restarts will take your breath.
They sure will. We're cranking up all that noise. I'm cranking up my heartbeat. Golly, these guys get racy on these restarts, particularly when you got cars down on the inside trying to get laps back.
A couple of cars climbed the hill in turn 1 and paid the price. One of those was Randy LaJoie, backslid about 5 spots. And you see up at the front, Joe Ruttman has gotten back a lap that he was down, moving out in front of the leader, and so has Jason Keller, gotten back one of his 2 laps.
Oh, got a car around down here in the middle of 3 and 4. Got a car around. Looks like
Christian Elder.
Christian Elder's around. Everybody's going to get through.
Close.
Looks like he's going to come to rest.
No caution yet?
Yeah, we got to have a caution.
There it is.
Yeah, we got to have one.
All right, here's the laps back deal coming back to the start-finish line.
Buddy, we got a lot of people racing hard to get laps back right here. Harvick's going to slow down. Ruttman's going to get one back.
Now there's Sauter right with him.
Sauter's going to get one back, and there's a car sitting right in the middle of the race. Oh, he got down out of the way. Christian Elder was just getting going. He was right up in the way.
So score 1 for Keller, for Ruttman, and Jay Sauter, who had made pit stops under green before the caution came out. So they are back up, gaining back a lap and running 1-2. Oh, big surprise. Kevin Harvick and Greg Biffle.
Oh, yeah. Action's getting ready to pick up, folks. I guarantee you. These guys, they don't really dislike each other, but they want to be in the same spot all the time.
Yeah, everybody come on back from the concession stand now.
Yeah.
This could get big.
Yeah, this is a classic battle. Ford, Chevrolet, 2 guys that really have had, you know, a lot of close calls on the racetrack. It's going to be fun to watch. See, Christian Elder just got the thing around going into 3 there. Got down in the grass.
Let's have a look at Tim Fedowa right behind all this in that 0-0. Looking inside. Purvis up the hill. Uh-oh. Hang on.
And that's exactly what the spotter is saying. Whoa.
Yeah, that 0-0 was almost was almost the
Double nothing.
All right, 78 laps complete. The caution out for Christian Elder's spin. It's the 3rd caution of the evening. Kevin Harvick in command, Greg Biffle right behind. Welcome back to Kentucky. Cleanup from Christian Elder's accident. Let's take a look down through the entire field, because those green flag pit stops really kind of mess things up with the caution coming in the middle of them. Here's your top 5 back through Tim Fedowa. There are 21 cars on the lead lap. We'll let you have a look through them. Ashton Lewis Jr. having a strong run 6. Jeff Green back to 8th after that lug nut problem. Phil Parsons right up there. Kevin Grubb of Ruco Motorsports, Kentucky team. All these are lead lap cars back through 21st place, Jamie McMurray. Now Randy LaJoie got caught a lap down, so did Ricky Hendrick, and all of these drivers are 1 lap down back through Joe Ruttman. From Kenny Wallace on back, a couple of 2 lap down fellas. And these are 3 or more laps down or in the garage, including Ronnie Hornaday after that tough crash in turn 1. Jeff Hammond's with him.
Yes, Mike, we caught up with Ronnie Hornaday. Ronnie, man, you had a heck of a lick out there, buddy. You okay?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. My Lucas Oil Arctic Cat Chevrolet was running good. Got over anxious early in the race, spun out, and just trying to get my rhythm back, trying to learn these Busch cars, learn this track at the same time. And just struggling a little bit out there. Came in turn 1, throttle stuck, and first time I ever had it, so a little bit nervous about it, but I think we'll be all right. Just get the thing back ready and maybe go out to RP with it.
A few minutes ago, I understand your father called you from up there in Pocono. You want to tell him anything?
Yeah, Dad, I'm all right. Happy Father's Day. I'll be okay. Just a little sore on the right side. As you know, it's the hardest one I've took so far.
That's one thing for sure. The car came by me, and it was very badly damaged. Mike?
He can tell AJ Happy Father's Day. AJ owns that car. Ouch.
Yeah, I would never want to have to confront the hoof, as we always call him, about me wrecking his car.
A good thing Ronnie's okay, though.
It is.
All right, let's get set for the restart. Kenny Wallace, who is 2 laps down, is the first car lined up on the inside next to Kevin Harvick, trying to get back on the lead lap or get a lap back. 81 of 200 laps complete. There's Biffle right behind Harvick, and Marty Houston, who is also 2 laps down, right behind Kenny Wallace. See who wins this drag race down at turn 1. And it's Jeff Purvis there in 3rd. Mike McLaughlin looking ahead at his teammate Purvis from 4th place. Go, go, go.
Sun's gone down. The lights are starting to come up. This place really gets pretty when the lights are on.
We're at a traffic light. We're second in line at a traffic light. My wife now, if the guy in front doesn't go and the light turns green, she'll say there, go, go, go.
Yeah, and you're blowing your horn.
If you're a race fan, you do that.
Yes, you do.
All right.
And my wife spots for me. She's clearing me all the time.
On the highway, too?
On the highway, yeah.
Okay.
DW. Guys are getting it. I think the track has cooled down now, and I'm seeing a lot of good side-by-side racing.
And now we find out the crew chief down in those garages during setup really did their thing and dialed the car in for the long part of the race at night.
Yeah, I think Bobby Hamilton Jr. might have scraped the wall down there in turn 2. He got up awfully high. He's up there now. Car must be a little tight. See, that's the thing, Mike. These corners, you got to have the car nice and tight to drive off in these corners as fast as you're going, but then you're too tight when you get ready to exit these turns. And that's the thing these guys are really struggling with. All of them except maybe Harvick, Biffle, and Green, a couple of them, they're not struggling with anything.
Give Greg Biffle a lot of credit. Had to take that provisional start. Things got jumbled up twice in the opening laps. At one point, he was half a lap behind the leader. Just kept digging, kept passing cars, and let the race come to him.
You know, and I expected him to be the man at this racetrack. The way he ran here in the truck race last year, he's got some experience on this track, but he spun out qualifying, and that's what got him way behind. Tells you about how wide this track is, Mike. We've had several cars spin and not hit anything. Spun around, saved them, and kept on going.
And we've had about 5 cars down in turn 2 start the wreck but never finish it, going way up the hill.
Well, they have been up there. And it sounded like we were talking about Ronnie Hornaday, that something might have happened to his car. It sounded like his throttle stuff, listening to what he told Jeff. The way that car went into the wall, I knew something had happened to it.
You know what else I like here, Darrell? In contrast to Michigan, lane lines painted all the way around this track.
Well, I'm a believer in lines. I believe when you're calling a race or when you're running a race, you got to know if you're in your lane, and you got to know when the guy comes out of his lane and gets in your lane, who caused the wreck. It's a better, easier to tell. Hey, you crossed over the line, man.
Jimmy Johnson battling Jeff Green. This is at 8th place.
Boy, and I tell you, traffic can really, really hold you up. I mean, Green has had the dominant car for the first 80 laps of this race, and he's struggling just to get through the traffic now. Jimmy Johnson's giving him a fit. Again, you know, the car's a little tight off the corner, and you need the whole racetrack to make the pass.
And look how they're stacking up the pack behind them.
Well, and when a car's on your outside like that, and the way you run off in the corner, it loosens that inside car up so much that the guy just can't drive it in there and get the position away unless he's willing to put a slide job on the guy beside him, and that doesn't work very often. And Green's around. There they go. In the wall. Just what I was talking about. Jimmy Johnson was holding him up, and he was down on the inside, and it just sucked him around.
It will bring out the caution as we complete lap 89. Remember, Jeff Green came in here second in the points, 75 behind Kevin Harvick, and Jimmy Johnson came in here 8th in the standings.
This is exactly what I was talking about, Mike. It's a classic. You can't run side by side lap after lap. Not as close as these guys were running. And what happened was Jimmy Johnson, they go down in the corner here. You'll see Green drives in there with him. They get a little loose. Around they go. Jimmy Johnson was keeping Green pinned down to the bottom, wasn't giving him much room, and spun both cars out. That's not to say Jimmy Johnson was doing anything wrong. It's just that you got to have more room in that to race. How about it, Matt? Car tore pretty bad.
Oh, look at that spoiler, Darrell. on the left side.
Yeah, it's.
I'm here.
Matt?
Well, Mike, they've shut the car off. They're going to put tires on it, take it back to the garage and fix it because they can only go out once and try to fix this car. But they were very upset. Crew Chief Harold Holly did say, let's just get our composure, take the car back to the garage and get it fixed, try to get as many points as we can, just not lose our cool.
But it's two cars trying to find the one sweet spot in the racetrack where you can go in there and stick, and they were both right there at the same time.
And I think Green's probably frustrated. You know, he was leading the race, had trouble in the pits, gets back in traffic, and that's what happens. And I'm sure that's what they're talking about in the pit there, in his pit area. Let's get our composure back.
Jeff Green has already had 3 did not finishes, DNFs in 2001. Only had 2 all of last year's championship season. There they go from Hank Parker's car. And we're under caution again for the 4th time tonight. We're under caution for the 4th time tonight of the Outback Steakhouse 300, a crash between Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Green, the early race leader, while battling for 8th place. The cleanup continues, and guess what time it is?
Oh no, not the dreaded
Pep Boys Trivia.
I hear that music, and I hear that music in my sleep.
Only one driver has led the league in wins in a season in 2 different decades, the 80s and the 90s.
Oh man, where they? Hammond's the only guy that knows, and he would know it only if he was in the hotel.
Okay, what's the answer to every question involving the most, the oldest, the guy who's done it all for the longest time and owns a steakhouse of his own?
Harry Grant.
Right.
I always call him Harry Grant.
I know. 5 wins
Harry Gant.
in 1988 and 1991. Harry Gant.
Harry Gant. Looks just like he did the first day he ever sat in a race car. Hadn't aged a bit.
Nope.
I don't know how he does that.
Meat tenderizer?
Could be.
I don't know.
Could be.
A good place to eat up there in Taylorsville, North Carolina, by the way.
And he's sitting there tonight watching this, I bet.
Oh, look what's going to happen to Jeff Green. He came in here 75 points off the lead.
Woo.
And they need to get that car back out to improve on that position right there. Jeff Green sits and waits.
Not a happy man.
Green flag. Kenny Wallace not able to get a lap back from race leader Kevin Harvick, who takes off.
Man, they got bottled up on that restart. A couple cars up in the front there just did not go, and there was a lot of cars that took evasive moves to keep running over each other.
You know who was the fastest car on the track in that last green flag segment was Joe Ruttman, who's now just 1 lap down.
Oh, yeah, Ruttman was fast, and I watched him earlier in the race. He was passing a lot of cars, and then he pitted under the green, and the caution came out. Pretty well took away any chance he had at this point anyway.
A lot of good battling through the lead lap. There's 4th and 5th place. McLaughlin the 20 and Lewis 46.
How about it, Jeff? What's the 60 car up to?
Well, Darrell, you won't believe this, but those guys came in and actually put on 4 tires and put a spring rubber in the right rear and still got out good enough to be and on that restart 2nd place. But one thing I found out very interesting during some of the conversation between Randy Goss and Greg Biffle is Greg was telling him what the car was doing. Randy said, well, let's keep talking to us because Cowboy and Mule will get it dialed in for you. And no, this is not home on the range or one of my Western deals. Believe it or not, his car chief is named Cowboy and his tire specialist is Mule. Those 2 guys are working on air pressure to dial that car the rest of the way in.
Jeff, they got any spurs?
And they jingle, jangle, jangle, baby.
All right, but I'm sure you're hanging tight with them then.
Monday, the big bet. We're going to take batting practice with the New York Mets on Sunday. The announcement is going to buy. The big bet is whether or not Hammond will wear his spurs to batting practice.
Oh yeah, he'll use that to rough up his bat or whatever
you do.
Thing you can do.
Yeah. All right, Ashton Lewis getting underneath Mike McLaughlin. He's going to move that unsponsored. Have we hit on that enough tonight? Unsponsored number 46 on up into the top 5. All right, Jimmy Johnson back behind the wall after that crash with Jeff Green. Here's Matt.
Tony Liberati, the crew chief for Jimmy Johnson, is working on this car, cutting away the sheet metal. Jimmy, what happened between yourself and the 10 car of Jeff Green?
Well, got to get all this stuff out of the way. I don't know. You know, we were racing real hard, and it's the last thing I'd ever expect from Jeff Green. And just to race a deal, I guess, must have took the air off the spoiler or something, because he's got a lot more to lose at this deal than I do at this point in the game, and just a bad deal all around. Got to thank Excedra and Excedra PM for all the hard work, and all the hard work from the boys at the shop. And this sucks. We tore up another race car, and it wasn't our fault. So sorry, boys. We'll go get them next time.
They're going to try to repair this car for points, as is the 10 team of Jeff Green. They dropped one spot in the points after Dover. They only had a 32-point margin between themselves and Greg Biffle. They could take another hit tonight, Mike.
Yeah, that margin's gone, and Green is going to slip to third in the standings if Biffle completes the 200-lap distance.
Well, it was, you know, I guess you'd call it one of those racing deals. I believe he was right, though. I believe Jeff Green was frustrated from that bad pit stop, and he was getting irritated with Jimmy Johnson by not being able to get in front of him, and actually tried to keep him up the hill a little bit as they entered that corner. And I think he just got loose underneath of him and took them both out.
We've passed halfway, 101 laps on a beautiful cloudless night here in Kentucky.
It's a beautiful thing. The moon, the stars, race cars, racetrack.
Where else would you rather be on a Saturday night?
I can't. This is it, buddy, right here.
Speedway. The leader at halfway, don't tell Kevin Harvick, but the halfway leader has only won 5 of these races this year, 5 out of 15.
No, but you know who probably is who they're telling that to?
Biffle.
The 60 car. Just be patient.
He's done a good job of that so far.
Well, he's got himself where he needs to be. He come from the, you know, provisional land, got himself up there in the top 2 or 3 now, and he's just going to watch Harvick and probably have a little something saved up for him at the end of the day.
Well, there's going to be at least one more pit stop. And, oh, trouble with Kenny Wallace. Is that
he's got water running out. Yep. The thing is overheated on him. Got water spraying out of it. Matt, what are you doing down there?
Well, DW caught up with Tim Fita while I was pulled the double O behind the wall. Timmy, this is not where we wanted to talk to you today. You had a great run going. What happened to the car?
I don't know, something under the hood, Matt. I was having fun, though. I appreciate the opportunity Buckshot and his daddy gave me, and you know, maybe we can do it again sometime. I was having a good time, and it felt good for a while there, and just trying to bide our time and get this 00 to the front, or just keep it up front all night. But you know, maybe next time we'll get them.
Where will you be in this car next?
I really don't know. Buckshot originally asked me to drive it at Pikes Peak in St. Louis, and last minute they called me to come here, and I got my seats, and we'll go wherever we have to go.
Fedor looking for a full-time ride in this series after being released from the 66 team, who has had a bad weekend. Jeff Bodine crashing 2 cars in practice, and the car that they started this race with is a test car for next week at Chicago. Bodine took a few laps in the car, started the race, and then parked it for the evening.
Travis Quaffle wrecked 2 of Childress's cars here testing. Then they wrecked 2 of Harvick's cars here. So Richard Childress has had a pretty rough outing at this speedway as well.
Joe Ruttman around the outside of Tony Raines.
But they got the right car down, I'll tell you that. And there's Ruttman. He's still just passing a lot of cars. Now that's, wow, that right there is there's a little payback, but Ruttman likes that.
Oh yeah.
Ruttman likes to bump into people. He thinks it's fun.
Oh yeah. He could just imagine that Jack Sprague alongside.
Oh yeah. Hey, look, he ain't finished with that guy yet. He says, "Hey, you want some more of this? This ain't my car. What's this?"
Now Raines is on the lead lap and 7th in points. Ruttman is not running for points.
No, and he's worn all the letters off the left side of those tires.
The letters on the tires used to be white.
Oh, yeah.
But they were on all the brands of tires. The chairman of Goodyear comes to a race and says, well, we don't need that. And they changed their whole image. Goodyear now has yellow letters on the tires and on their trucks and on their blimp and everything else. But you can tell when somebody's been busy with the side of that car because you don't see that yellow.
Yeah,
like you do on the right side there of Ruttman's car. But now look at his left side tires.
It's all smeared.
Yeah, smear.
It's called putting a Goodyear on tour.
All right, let's get back up front where Kevin Harvick has a 2-second lead on Greg Biffle. Now that's an interesting tape configuration on the front of Biffle's car. There's 3rd place Jeff Purvis. Ashton Lewis is up to 4th. Elton Sawyer 5th. Mike McLaughlin, Chad Little, Tony Raines, Jay Sauter, the pole sitter, and the 36 and Hank Parker are your top 10.
Good run for Hank Parker. I love what his dad said. Hank Parker's dad said, I'm glad I wasn't in California. I'd have pitted him for fuel.
Yeah. Sixth place changes hands. Chad Little moves up to sixth in front of Mike McLaughlin. 110 laps complete. Next time by of the 200 will run tonight in Kentucky. Kevin Harvick with a 3.5 second lead in the Outback 300. Greg Biffle 1 second up on Jeff Purvis. Next week on FX Saturday Night Baseball, Barry Bonds continues his torrid home run pace as he leads the Giants into St. Louis to take on McGuire and the Cards. Coverage begins 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. Watch the entire baseball season unfold across the Fox family of networks.
Now, Mike, if I had a 3.5 second lead over second place and just a little past halfway, I don't know if I'd be hammering it quite as hard as Harvick is. I mean, he is not leaving anything on the table right now. He is he's flat after it, and I don't know, Biffle looks like he's kind of on cruise control. Let's see how that plays out at the end of the day. But you know the amazing thing about Harvick, just think about it. We're up here doing the race tonight. We're going to go do the race tomorrow in Pocono. He's got to drive both races. That's pretty phenomenal what he's been able to do so far, and hanging on to the point lead.
You guys had to practice and qualify both tracks and really piling up the frequent flyer miles. Look at the tape on the grill. We'll see it again of Greg Biffle's car. Darrell, we're used to seeing cars taped up with just a little bit of opening in the grill. There's a lot of opening there.
Yeah, there is, but I think that different colors probably tells you that they got down at the bottom here, they got quite a bit open. That's mainly for your oil cooler, and they're working the engines pretty hard here, Mike. Turn them about 9,000 RPM, and that'll run the oil temperature up. So I think, again, he's looking at the big picture. Probably could tape it up and run a little quicker, but it'd be a little harder on the engine.
There's a look at Harvick, and he's pretty open in the upper grill.
Yeah, and these little openings at the bottom could actually be brake ducts. These guys, these little openings right here, those could actually be little ducts for his brakes. They may actually be using more brake here than I think they are. I can't imagine that they would be, but looking at that grill configuration, there's a good chance. Looks like his left sides are a little scrubbed up too.
14th place battle. Tim Sauter there with Bobby Hamilton Jr. and Jamie McMurray. All those are lead lap cars, all three of them.
Yeah, Bobby Hamilton's had some great adventures, but he's still on the lead lap and still going strong. He's been up.
I like that little car. I like that little Saturday night skid at the front of the show, but I don't know how they got McMurray and all those fellas into kilts.
I don't either. That wouldn't have happened in my day, I can tell you that. Cowboy hats and boots, that's it.
Well, second place, Biffle. Remember when we came back from break, he was a second ahead of Jeff Purvis, and now Purvis has caught him.
Great run for Purvis tonight. I believe looks like Biffle's car's gotten maybe it's a little tight. All that grill opening, and maybe the car's a little tight.
They worked their way around Shane Hall.
See if he's down on the white line there in the middle of the corner. He picks up the throttle. And he looks good off of that turn. He's not using up the whole racetrack, and he's maintaining pretty good distance between he and the 18 car there. But let's see what happens here. He goes down into 3 right on the white line, picking up the throttle early right here. Now both cars seem to be pushing up, but Biffle's more than possibly Purvis's is.
Very high attrition tonight. Already 9 cars, make that 10 cars in the garage area with 80 laps to go.
Some self-inflicted wounds in a couple of cases.
Yes. A.J. Alsop, first car out. Jeff Bodine by the wayside. Brad T. Didn't last long. Clay Rogers with a crash. Dick Trickle, engine problems. Ronnie Hornaday crashed. Jeff Green and Jimmy Johnson crashed. Motor trouble for Tim Fedua, and now Kenny Wallace joins those off the track and in the garage.
Now Biffle and Purvis back here exit turn 2. Harvick's down in turn 3, so he's got the length of the back straightaway on these guys for a lead. That's what 3.5 seconds looks like. Obviously the pit stops and the changes they made to their car, and then of course Jeff Green having trouble Harvick's the man right now.
Yeah, it's about a 1/10 of a second a lap, Darrell, that he's picking up on the field.
Oh, he's not. I think he wants to catch that flight and get on back to Pocono. He's hammered down right now.
Second place battle coming up.
You can see he's putting Harvick's just continuing to put cars laps down. Christian Elder, who spun there a little bit ago, sailing by him.
Larry Foyt just ahead. And there's Purvis, the new second place car.
We heard him say he put a spring rubber in the right rear of Biffle's car, but I believe that car's still way too tight.
77 laps to go here at Kentucky Speedway, the second track to have their inaugural Busch race this season. Nashville was the first. Part of the record crowd for the state of Kentucky of any sport. 70,338 paid attendance. That's big.
It is. It's a great thing. And of course, they've worked so hard here at this Speedway. They've given this racetrack every amenity that you can give it. Thinking about the future and wanting to be sure they have a facility that can handle anything that might come our way.
And third place battle. So, somebody get out your checkbook. Here comes this Ashton Lewis with no sponsor on this car. And he's about to run down Greg Biffle for third place. He has one top 5 finish in the NASCAR's Busch Series. Now, he came out of road racing, so no surprise that third place finish he has was at Watkins Glen in 1998. His best ever oval track finish, 11th at Texas this year. But what a great night Ashton Lewis Jr.'s having.
Well, he really is. And of course, you know, Watkins Glen is not that far away, so it'd be a great opportunity for somebody to get on a good car here. We finally got Kenny Wallace talked into a sponsor. Maybe we can help Ashton Lewis.
Yep. That, or you and I'll start a company called Your Logo Here and see what we can sell. Jay Sauter, the pole sitter, and Hank Parker Jr. Second generation sportsman. Actually, his dad tried racing and found that as a racer, he was a pretty good fisherman.
Oh, yeah, I sold him all my Busch equipment back in the early 90s there. He bought my Busch cars, my ASA cars, and wrecked every one of them. He said that he'd like to run us now to about one race and get a new one.
Oh, no.
He's a funny man.
Yes, he is.
And a pretty good fisherman.
Oh, yeah. There's Hank Jr. tracking Jay Sauter.
Looks like he's pretty comfortable in there. He's not fighting the wheel. The car's nice and smooth. He's not having to pull it real hard to the left, so the car's fairly neutral.
And here, third place is heating up.
That's got to be a big thrill for Ashton Lewis, you know, because an underfinanced team, no sponsor, and up there after the guy that's one of the hottest properties in the Busch Series.
I think they take that deal on the hood and just make up some T-shirts, sell them to the grandstands. Your logo here. I think it's a heck of a slogan for somebody. Matt, what do you think?
Well, I spoke to Ashton Lewis this weekend, Mike. He says that Watkins Glen is for sure the last race that they can go to. After that, they're going to have to play it by ear. They feel like between himself and his crew chief brother, Charlie, who worked at the chassis R&D department at Hendrick Motorsports, they've got a good operation here. They just need some luck. This is the same race car they ran at Las Vegas and ran very well. Same race car they had at Nashville. They qualified 6th, but were wrecked out early. 20 laps in, they feel like they're in trouble.
Trouble in 4. One car goes around and up toward the wall and in it. Caution's out. Harvick pedaled it, but Mark Green did not beat him back to the line, I don't believe. And it's David Donahue, who had returned to the track from the garage, picked up about 8 positions in the Ed Renzi Team Marines car.
I believe he did that same spin at the beginning of the race and didn't hit anything.
Right.
And, you know, I can't tell if he made contact this time or not. There doesn't seem to be much damage to the car. And he's driving off under his own power. I really don't think he hit it again this time. See him wiggling the car around to see if he's got any tires flat spotted, which I'm sure he does.
I thought he bumped it. And
yeah, he's got a little right. Yeah, it's a little right rear damage, but he's dodged a couple of bullets.
Another second generation racer, Donahue.
They still got that bullseye on the back of that car?
Might have just rubbed it off just now.
I think he did.
Well, we'll see pit stops. We're at lap 134, 66 to go, so this could be the last pit stop of the night.
It'd be my last pit stop. I don't know about anybody else's, but.
Well, let's find out. Harvick. Harvick is the only car of that front group of cars trying to get a lap back to come onto pit road.
Yeah, there's Biffle back there. Of course, had to take early pit.
Jeff Hammond in Biffle's pit.
That's right. Greg Biffle has not been happy with his race car. It's been way too tight. He told Randy Goss, you got to do something, and you got to make it work this time. Half a pound out of the right front, pound in the right rear, and he's down and away. Matt Yoakum.
Well, Jeff, Todd Berry, the crew chief of the 2-car of Kevin Harvick, asked Kevin, how is the race car? He says, good. Any adjustments? No. And he's down and away.
The way he was picking up a 10th a lap, I wouldn't touch a thing.
No, I wouldn't either. The last thing he wanted to see was a caution flag, the way he had it going.
Jeff Purvis getting 4 tires. And look, 23 seconds, Darrell.
Yeah, and man, that's a killer. When you got a car that good, you passed all those guys, and then you lose those positions in the pit. And that, I can't tell you what that does to the driver. He gets so irritated, as we saw Jeff Green. Sometimes you do things that you regret.
19 cars on the lead lap. We'll run them down for you when we come back to Kentucky. This is NASCAR on FX. Welcome back to Kentucky. Nice sign. We got to fix it just a little there.
Oh yeah, well, nice to be with you tonight, Mark.
Yeah,
Mark Joy.
Yeah. Okay.
We're going to crank it up there, young man. You just wait. Just sit down there.
What does it say?
We got you on TV.
Larry, Dwa, and Mark. Okay. All right, for the restart, here are your lead lap cars. Kevin Harvick, Greg Biffle, Chad Little came in 7th, came out 3rd on the pit stop. Back in 4th place, Tony Raines. 5th, Mike McLaughlin. 6th, Ashton Lewis. 7th, Elton Sawyer. We'll look back through all these cars are on the lead lap, back through 17th place. And then from Randy LaJoie on back there a lap down.
And there's some good cars there a lap down. He got a lap down because of pitting on the green. The caution come out. If these cats can get up there and LaJoie's up there, it'll be a whole new race.
Well, you think we ought to get Mark to crank it up on the restart?
Hey, Mark, let's crank it up. What do you say, buddy? I want to hear it. Blow those speakers out.
Let's let you enjoy some pure American horsepower here in the NASCAR Busch Series. So we're going to crank it up as we restart to complete lap 138. Wide right here.
3 wide, 4 wide. Oh my.
Jeff Green back on track. Oh, here's McLaughlin right in the middle of a potentially big thing here.
Yes, it is. I like the way you put that. A huge thing. I'll tell you one thing, Mike. No way are you going to get a lap back tonight.
Oh, trouble in
big
4.
Trouble.
One car, a hard hit, spun around, hit it again. Ouch.
Is that Phil Parsons?
Yes, it is.
Boy, hit that wall hard. Got spun around some way. Just going to say, the only way you're going to get a lap back tonight on Harvick, and he is doing it, was he's going to let you get one back.
Yep, there goes LaJoie.
There goes LaJoie by
Here comes everybody.
And if anybody was close enough, there just wasn't that many close enough. There's been a good chance to get one back, but you're not going to drive by Harvick, I can tell you that.
No, LaJoie is the only one who could capitalize. Marty Houston and Jason Keller unable to. And Phil Parsons hit the wall with a corner and had one of the just snap spins right back into the wall. So it was a double whammy for Phil. And he'll get it around to the garage area to be repaired. Parsons was 8th in the first ever race when they called this the NASCAR Busch Series in February of '82. 57 laps complete in the Outback Steakhouse 300. Caution coming out for the 6th time tonight for Jeff Parsons' crash in turn 3. Now, the 60 car had fallen back there to 3rd spot. Jeff, what's up?
Mike, what I was going to bring to y'all's attention, that on that last caution, when they came in and made their pit stop, it was so quick. I talked about the air pressure adjustments. They actually also put another rubber in the right rear. I went back and double checked the tape. They put another rubber in the right rear. But during this last caution, he radioed in and said, guys, I just ran over something in turn 2. Spotter, you got to do a better job and watch out for that kind of things. Matt Yoakum.
Jeff, up here in the 46 pit of Ashton Lewis, I spoke with Ashton's brother and crew chief Charlie Lewis. I said, what'd you guys do to the race car, if anything? He says, Ashton says the car is extremely good. We didn't want to take a chance and make any changes.
And if Biffle's running over something, it's probably all them spring rubbers he's packing in the right rear.
All right, we're cleaning up a caution here with 56 laps to go. We'll be right back. This is NASCAR on FX. How's this for timing?
Oh, boy, perfect. Green flag.
Go, go, go. Oh, boy. And Kevin Harvick did. He took off like a rocket.
I tell you, they got him fired up tonight.
He must have one of those restart Ron Hornaday gears in that thing for,
he's
for
up,
3rd gear.
He's up front and running good.
Yep.
Seems like everything goes well when he's running that way.
Well, they were 3 wide off the corner, and Ruttman was right in the middle of it.
Ruttman's been that way all night.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to have both sides of that car used up. But he's been doing a great job. I'll say that for him. It's just a shame he got a lap down.
And we talked about Biffle showing great patience and letting the race come to him. How about Jason Keller, who is right behind our leader, Darrell, and he was 2 laps down at one point, and now he's scuffling to try to get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, and he needs a quick caution right now, and I believe he could do that because he's keeping Harvick in sight about as well as anybody has all night.
Kevin Harvick's now led 78 laps, the most of anyone, as Kevin Grubb battles Rich Bickle with Jay Sauter looking in. 6th, 7th, and 8th right here. Ricky Hendrick with Shane Hall on the outside of the battle, which is 46 Ashton Lewis, and this car, Jeff Purvis, and 98 up there on the right side, Elton Sawyer.
Well, I believe we've seen everybody in the pit for the last time. I don't think anybody will have to pit again of the leaders. But I'm telling you, if I'm up front, my spotter would be saying, you ought to see what's going on behind you. You don't want to get back here because they are having a whale of a race. Oh, and there's Ruttman sideways in turn 3.
And in the wall hard.
He's just been.
Oh, and he spins out right in front of traffic. And everybody gets by.
Boy, he's just been driving the wheels off that car all night long.
And finally did.
And finally drove them off. Literally.
Did Jason Keller
Oh, yeah. I think he's going to get a lap back.
I'm not sure where Harvick was when the caution flag waved. Yes, he did already get the caution flag, so Jason Keller's in front of him now, but did Keller beat him back to the flag? That's what we'll check with scoring.
He was right there, so yeah, he didn't. They're stopping him here at the start-finish line. Tell him to get behind the leader.
And Joe Ruttman's evening in the James Finch #1 draws to a close here with the back end stove in.
Got another car spun around over on the back straightaway over there.
David Green.
Tires
Ooh, look
flat.
at the left rear. Look at the left
tires
side.
are all flat.
Sorry, look at the left side of that.
I don't know what happened to him. That's just fire from fuel in the tailpipe. That's not a problem. But those flat tires are.
So we're under caution for the 7th time tonight. Is there a full moon or what? It's been a big night in Kentucky, dedicating the visitor center and statue of Darrell Waltrip at Victory Lane at the '89 Daytona 500, a moment that he recreated with his then crew chief and now Fox colleague Jeff Hammond. Took a ride around the track with a Dale Earnhardt #3 flag in the car that he won the 500 in, and then the real fireworks started. Jeff Green going to have a tough night and drop out of second in the point standings after that crash with Jimmy Johnson.
Not a happy camper either.
Nope. And from then on, it's been Kevin Harvick who's been holding court here in Kentucky. So we're under caution, cleaning up from Joe Ruttman's crash in turn 3, and David Green, it appeared, just had a flat tire, and Jason Keller did not beat Harvick back to the line to get his lap back. And now you're all up to date. We'll be right back. A lot of families out tonight at Kentucky Speedway to bring the Busch Series here for the first time in the Outback Steakhouse 300. Now tomorrow we go up to Pennsylvania to the Tri-Cornered Speedway at Pocono. NASCAR this morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. The Winston Cup race is on Fox at 12:30 Eastern time, and then Victory Lane on the net at 9 o'clock.
Pocono's a roval.
A roval?
A roval. Yeah, it's part road course and part oval. That's a roval.
I like it.
You'll see that tomorrow as we watch the guys shift gears as they fly around there all day.
What we're seeing right now is that Jeff Green is going to take a big hit in the points, falling from second to third based on the positions they're running in right now. But there are still 46 laps to go. Jeff Hammond?
Yeah, Mike. As I looked up here on top of the pit box for the 74 car, I was looking for the crew chief, Eddie Pardue, and what did I find? I found Donna Little, his wife, and Caesar, one of the crew members. Eddie is actually up on a spotter stand tonight. First time this year, and so far it's had a very good result for Chad Little. He's up to 4th place after starting 38.
The farthest back a winner has started was Chad Little. He won Daytona from 42nd back in 1995.
You know, 95, I mean, Chad had an incredible year in the Busch Series and almost won the championship. Had some wins and just great runs. Good to see him back up there tonight.
All right, let's get set for the restart. Same 17 cars still on the lead lap. Nobody got a lap back from Kevin Harvick that time. It'll be 45 laps to go when Harvick leads Biffle to the line with Raines in third, Little in fourth, and Elton Sawyer fifth, Ashton Lewis sixth, and Purvis did not get going.
Boy, something wrong with Purvis. And not only did he not get going, he's not going to get going. Man, they're going by him left, right. Something wrong. Obviously, he's broken something, probably in the gearbox. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, sitting on the front porch, singing with Blanche.
Kevin Harvick and Greg Biffle.
Or in this case, Greg Biffle. Or Kevin Harvick.
Right, Mark.
Okay. Mark Joy.
Stop that, Joy. Jason Keller unable to get a lap back from the leader once again.
But he's hanging, you know, if he can just hang in there for a while, you know, maybe he'll get another quick caution. He's had a couple of chances. It's just going to be hard for anybody to do anything with, well, I don't know about that. As I said that.
Matt, what's wrong with Jeff Purvis?
Well, listening to the conversations between Jeff Purvis and his crew chief, Doug Richard, Jeff is reporting something's amiss in the transmission. They're going to pull the car behind the wall. They've already run to the truck to get the spare transmission, but it's going to cost Jeff Purvis big time.
Jeff Purvis, sixth in the points coming into this race, so he will also take a big hit.
Yeah, when he took off there, all of a sudden the car, I mean, sometime it'll happen. You really power shift these things on a restart, and you can break a main drive and lose all your pulling power. The motor's going fast, but the car isn't. If that makes any sense to you.
It does.
I think you understand what I'm saying.
Greg Biffle is doing his best to hang with Kevin Harvick.
Well, he is really. I've been watching him. He is driving that thing down in the corner harder than I've seen him drive all night. I think he realizes that if he's got anything for Harvick, he better use it now, because Harvick's just been motoring off from him on every restart.
Randy LaJoie giving Hank Parker Jr. Hank Jr. a little bump there as they battle for 11th place. LaJoie, one of those cars that pitted under green. The caution came out, and then during a subsequent caution got himself back on the lead lap. 4th place battle, Ashton Lewis and Chad Little.
Boy, Ashton Lewis just keeps easing his way up through the field. a little closer to the lead all the time.
He's been in the top 5, and now he's back.
They've had good pit work. Kid's driven a great race. Car is good. Handling good. Running good. Great night for your logo here.
That's right. We're going to have shirts made. We're just going to have to do this. Now, speaking of having shirts made, we'll get Elton Sawyer's sponsor to make them. We could do that.
Well, he's got something hanging out of the left side of that car there. It must be a piece of tape that's caught on the side of it there. Maybe a tear off. See it down around the bottom there. Might be a windshield tear off.
Sawyer, the 4th place car.
No harm. Just an observation. No harm.
4.7 seconds back of the lead, and that's Ricky Hendrick just ahead of Sawyer, and Ricky's 1 lap down.
I know Ricky will be disappointed. He was the 6th quickest car in happy hour here this day, and I thought he was going to have a great run tonight. Boy, he just never got up to speed tonight. Got a lap down early and never has been able to make it up.
Harvick's lead now, 0.6 of a second.
It's incredible how quickly Harvick can just drive off and leave everybody. His car is just handling and running so much better than Biffle's or any of these other guys.
And, you know, all the Railbirds said when Kevin Harvick said, well, okay, Richard Childress wants me to drive the 29 car. I'll do that, but I still want to run for the Busch Championship. And all the Railbirds said, oh, by June he'll be toast. Well, he just seems to be getting better.
He does, but we're getting ready to hit a real tough stretch.
Right.
We're going to have 20 weeks in a row in Winston Cup. That's going to be hard to deal with.
Biffle, the fastest car on the racetrack right now on this lap. As you look back through the lead lap cars.
And you got to remember something, Mike. That's his backup car. That's
right.
his car that Mike Bliss wrecked his car this morning. He got that car out and qualified it. That's his backup car, isn't it, Matt?
Darrell, you're absolutely right. And over the past 8 months, Kentucky has not been a good racetrack for RCR, Richard Childress Racing. If you go back and look at the history, they've lost 4 race cars here, including the one you just talked about this morning, and 1 front fender. Mike Dillon crashed last November, then Travis Quaffle wrecked 2 race cars, then Mike Bliss today, and then Kevin Harvick. He was testing the 29 Winston Cup machine here and cut down a tire and broke apart the right front fender. Richard Childress joked, even if we win, we probably still won't break even.
Wow.
Well, he probably won't, but this is a great paying race. The winner's going to walk out of here tonight with about 80 grand, so that's a big race, a big purse for these guys.
Randy LaJoie's picked it up a notch. He just goes by Rich Bickle. Bickle was the 9th place car, or 8th place car. So LaJoie picks up, moving his way up through the top 10 at number 7.
Oh, Bickle. About every week, he silently works his way into the top 10 or 15.
Yep.
Started way back, what, in 40th place. And here he is finding himself in the top 10, quietly doing it. Hadn't said a whole lot about it. He and Phil Hammer doing a good job.
30 positions gained. Pretty good run. 34 laps to go here in Kentucky in their inaugural Busch race, the Outback Steakhouse 300. Eighth caution of the night. Tim Sauter and turn 3, which has been Calamity Corner all weekend.
Boy, it really has. That's if we can tell. Whoa, McLaughlin's in trouble now, Mike. He's got a.
Yeah, that car's been slow and way off the pace, and now it appears it is blowing itself up.
Let's see if we can see what happened to the 61 car here. Going down the back, there's Hank Parker going by David Green. Whoop, 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 whoop. Hank Parker, 61 car didn't quite have him cleared. Hank probably should have, might have, could have let him in. And I guess everybody will say, oh, it's just one of them racing deals.
Let's see. Now let's see from Hank. Let's see if the 61 moves up.
It's pretty well in front of Hank right here. Oops. Oops. Yep. I think that's probably a product of the spotter not telling Sauter that the 36 car was still there.
There's Tim climbing in. He's okay after climbing out of that car under his own power. Hard call to make, Darrell, when you've got to run on a fellow who's already side by side with somebody, and you know he's going to come up the racetrack a ways, and you're coming, you're coming, you're coming.
Yeah, even if Hank should lift, I don't know that they would have not made contact because he moved over just a little bit and they clipped.
Mike McLaughlin has only one DNF in 2001, a wreck at Texas. He's going to try to nurse that motor another 30 laps, and we'll be right back. This is NASCAR on FX. Look at all these DW fans waving.
Oh boy, they're having a big time tonight.
28 laps to go here in the Outback Steakhouse 300. Full house. Now look at that top grandstand right there. Now see these suites? These could be expanded all the way down to turn 1. And that upper level grandstand, there's another 50,000 seats in both directions. Should the need arise.
If the need should arise, we have the ability to add 70,000 seats real quick.
Right. All right, Kevin Harvick has led, well, a little more than halfway, 102 laps. Jeff Green led the first 69. It's been Harvick ever since. Pat, what's the strategy for this stretch run?
And Todd Barrier's the crew chief for Kevin Harvick. What's your driver saying about his race car?
Kevin hadn't really said a whole lot about the car all night. At the beginning, we were a little tight. We made one adjustment, and he just said, leave it alone, and he really hadn't said a whole lot. I think he has jet lag. We're flying back and forth to Pocono about 10 different times this weekend, so he's half asleep out there.
But this is the second of 7 times this year that he will pull double duty. How tough is it for you guys here at the Busch race while he's trying to fly back and forth? You had Mike Bliss here trying to help out. How tough is that on you guys?
Oh, it's not that bad. I mean, once we kind of got prepared for it, we kind of thought it was going to be tougher than what it was initially. But, you know, we're just kind of used to it now, so it's just as normal as anything else.
Let's go to Jeff.
Well, I'm down here with Randy Goss. Randy, you guys started way in the back, kind of got yourself in a hold early, but now you find yourself in second place. What can you do with that 2-car?
Well, I don't think we got much for the 2-car, but the Granger Ford and the whole Granger crew's done an incredible job tonight for us. Greg did a great job picking his way through traffic, and the guy's been laying down some pit stops for us. So we'll take a second. If we can get 25 more laps, we'll take a second, be happy tonight. And Harvick's doing a great job also. I mean, he's flawless out there.
With the way things are kind of turning out right now, Randy, you're just going to try to get the points and get her to the barn?
That's what I was thinking, but I never know what my driver's thinking. So if the crew'd get her to the barn, but he's probably gonna go for it.
There you go, guys.
All right.
That's that 60 car.
Kevin Harvick has now led the most laps in 3 of the last 4 races: Richmond, Nazareth, and Dover.
And Mike, when you've got your competitors saying you're flawless,
yeah,
and they'll just take second and go on to the barn. You got them covered pretty good when you got the other guys just already hollering uncle.
All right, counting tonight, Harvick's led the most laps for the last 5 races. But the surprise of the night has been 5th place Ashton Lewis. Let's go to his pit. Matt?
Without a sponsor, looking for a career night, Charlie Lewis is the crew chief. What can you guys do? Can you get up any higher than 5th?
Certainly. I think we've got a really good car. I don't think we can run quite the lap times as the 2 and the 60, but we can catch the 98 and the 33. So he says we can do it, so I trust him.
All right, lead lap cars. There is Lewis. He sits in 5th place behind Kevin Harvick, Greg Biffle, Tony Raines, and Elton Sawyer. Lewis is 5th. Then it's Chad Little, Kevin Grubb up to 7th place in the Bruco car based here in Kentucky. Jay Sauter, the pole sitter, Randy LaJoy, Jamie McMurray in the top 10. Hank Jr., Hank Parker Jr., Bobby Hamilton Jr., Rich Bickle, and the 54 having a career night, Kelly Denton. Those are the lead lap cars.
Boy, if you can stay out of trouble, and a lot of these guys have done a good job of that, you're going to get a good finish here tonight, and you're going to take some money home with you.
In 26 laps, we'll find out who wins the Busch Series inaugural here in Kentucky. Green.
What you want to do now is capitalize on that position here, like Ashton Lewis. He just needs to be sure to get that car home in one piece. Don't make any mistakes now. Don't get greedy. Don't let it get so good to you that you get up there trying to take 4th or 3rd away from somebody. Just hang on there with what you got and take the thing to the bar. Now that's a driver of my age talking. Kid 25, 30 years old out there, he probably doesn't think that way. that 33 car's up there again this week, Mike. You know, they get my vote for the most improved team.
Darrell Biffle looks stronger entering turn 1, but Kevin Harvick's strong suit is from the midpoint of turn 3 around to the start-finish line. See how Biffle right now is just a car length from him.
Looks
now
like
right
Biffle
here,
gets
now
to
look at
push
Harvick stretch it out.
Biffle gets to pushing up off of 4 down here. Being a little tight off of 1 and 2, off turn 2 doesn't hurt you too bad, but it really kills you off of 4 down here.
And that's the difference between those two.
It seems to be. And I know Biffle's thinking, if I could get up here and distract this cat a little bit, because, you know, she seems to have a thing about me in this car. Maybe, just maybe, I could force him into a mistake.
And you were absolutely right about Mike McLaughlin. Broken valve on that car, we're told. But once he got up to speed, it stopped smoking. So.
Yeah, sometimes all those parts flying around in there, they'll suck a lot of oil and smoke a lot under a caution idling along. But get her back up to speed, get her wide open, blown out, and sucked out, and burned out, and you can make this finish.
23 laps to go. Biffle chasing Harvick. Now it's 2 car lengths.
It's the best. This has been the best effort by Biffle so far to stay with Harvick. The last several restarts, Harvick has just driven off and left him. Right now, Biffle's up on the wheel, as good as I've seen him all night.
Well, it's about half a car length or so a lap, and it's all right there at turn 4, Darrell.
But Raines is right there too, and I think he may have a little something to say about who's going to finish second.
Greg Biffle's record on 1.5-mile tracks is the best of all Busch drivers. And you see Harvick is fastest that lap. Biffle second at Vegas, second at Atlanta, the winner at Nashville, 7th at Texas, and 6th at Charlotte. Average finish of a little better than 4th on the 1.5-mile tracks.
And you know, I thought he'd come in here with a little bit of an advantage with his truck experience here last year, winning that race. But I guess they just got the car a little too tight for him tonight. They've done a good job of adjusting it and getting him to where he is. You can see his car just push it up the track just ever so slightly versus that of Harvick, who is just nice and clean and straight up off the corner. See the front end of Biffle's car take off with him, particularly down here in turn 4. Man, it really takes a run out to the wall.
About to run out of racetrack there.
He needs a little more track. Costing him dearly. That turn the wheels that hard.
And Raines is coming. He's the 2nd fastest car on the racetrack that last lap.
Three cars at the front right there. All 3 pretty good race cars. Harvick just a tick better than everybody else by about a 10th a lap.
Give a call to Elton Sawyer, who's going to get a 4th place, a top 5 finish out of this. Ashton Lewis Jr. What a tremendous story he has been all evening. Hasn't given us a lot of time to notice Kevin Grubb and Jamie McMurray, but there's 2 young local boys that are on the lead lap and going to get a top 10 finish, it looks like. There's Grubb in the 37, Clarence Brewer from Kentucky.
Yeah, he's from down around, not Hopkinsville, but somewhere just outside of Owensboro there. Their team's based.
And there's Bickle on the inside of Bobby Hamilton once again, and this is a race for 12th place. These are lead lap cars.
Yeah, I don't know what Bickle's deal was. He came in the pits under that caution and made a tire change. I think he thought he would that would give him a big advantage, but you know, he was one of the top 10 cars, and it really hurt him as far as the restart goes.
Well, they got 3 wide there with Kerry Earnhardt.
Whoa, there he goes.
Oh, Bickle's around. And Earnhardt got him, and up and over goes the 21 of Quaffle.
Another Richard Childress car, and this one is upside down.
9th caution, lap 183, so close to the finish, and yet so far.
Yeah, you know, I think Bickle came into pits, and I think they must have the car might have been tight, and they must have made a change on it, and the car was really, really loose, and it just came right around on him as they came off turn 2 over there.
25-year-old Travis Quaffle, like Bickle, a Wisconsin driver. Movement, yeah, he's coming out.
It wasn't like it was a violent flip and rolling crash. He just got into the side of Biffle's car and got himself turned up on his side, and it just rolled on over. Pretty gentle, really, as far as a rollover goes. And scary if you're in the car, obviously.
Shame Kerry Earnhardt got caught up in that.
Yeah, it is. You just mentioned his name, and I was thinking, well, he's going to make it through the evening.
Now they're going to red flag this race, Darrell. There are 17 laps to go, and obviously it's going to be a rather complicated procedure, get that car over and onto a rollback. So we're told the field is going to be halted.
Well, the caution's still out, so they're, I guess they all got to get across the start-finish line before they can stop them. The pace car seems to be dropping down the inside. I'm sure they're telling them on the radios that they're going to stop the cars down in turn 1. For scoring purposes, they got to get everybody across the start-finish line.
All right, let's see what happened here. There's Biffle on the inside, Hamilton on the outside.
Again, when you get side by side, your car's a little loose. You can see the back of Biffle's car just starting out right there. It's out a little bit, out a little bit. It comes around. As the 26 car starts by on the outside, it just sucks that back in around.
And there's Kerry Earnhardt.
Kerry, who makes slight contact. But here's the one that, see, he's got the wheels turned, trying to go around Biffle's car, and the car just kind of pole vaults over on its side and then gets upside down. And of course, you got to realize something. He's hanging upside down. There he is.
And he's out and he's okay.
You're hanging upside down in the car. They can't just take the seat belts loose or he'll crash into the top of the car.
Now, all those black straps, I believe that's Bobby Hutchins' device, the Richard Childress engineer that he's worked on for supplemental restraint.
Here we go. These guys are coming off, and you can see right there the back of Biffle's car is a little loose. He never makes any contact with the 26. Spins around right in front of Kerry Earnhardt, and here comes the 21 car. And see, he was trying to turn out from behind him. Also back here, I believe that's Christian Elder spins around as well. There's a car down here in the grass.
Yes.
Wow. Cars going everywhere. What a mess.
Here's a different look at it.
Just gets it loose up off that corner, and that's real time, and it happens so fast.
Quaffle was a lap down in 21st position at the time.
Well, I don't know who that car right there was, but he didn't have any idea which way to go. He kept waiting and waiting and waiting to see what was going to happen to the 21 cars that was sliding on its roof.
Yeah, the racetrack was pretty well littered with cars, and Kerry Earnhardt came back up the racetrack, so he had to move. Now everybody has, you notice what a nice job of parking here like this, but there's a purpose to that.
Oh yeah, there's a method to their madness. There's a little banking there. If the car perhaps would not start, the starter maybe wouldn't engage or battery low or whatever, you can get a little roll down that hill, put it in second gear, and pop the clutch, and hopefully she'll take off.
So we're under the red flag at Kentucky Speedway following this 9th caution flag of the night. 16 laps before we crown the first winner of the Outback Steakhouse 300. All right, let's get an update from the track hospital. Here's Jeff.
Well, we just got Travis as he come out of the inferior care center. First off, how are you?
I'm fine. Man, that was one heck of a ride. I really feel bad for the Rockwell Automation team. We started off real well. We kind of struggled there in the middle of the race. We had some problems we had to get taken care of. You know, we were just trying to finish this race out. Biffle spun coming off a 2, and I hit him with my right front and just sent me over. But, you know, I feel bad for the guys, but I'm just fine.
What kind of a feeling was that when the car got up and when it started going over?
Oh, it happened so fast. You know, I was just, once I knew it was on my lid, I was just waiting for somebody to hit me, and I was thankful that, you know, the guys did a good job not hitting me. And, you know, I was kind of a sitting duck there. Once I was stopped, I was just trying to get out of there.
Well, fortunately for Travis, he's doing very well. I think ready to go again hopefully next week.
Yeah, we'll go get him next week at Memphis in the Cat Rental Store truck.
Mike.
There's TK's wild ride. Up and over.
It just got over on that left front. That's the weakest spring, real weak spring in that left front, and that thing just mechanically coil binded and locked up right there and just let the car roll over.
All right, let's get an update on our 5th place car, Matt.
Well, Mike, when Ashton Lewis went to refire that number 46 machine, he hit the ignition. The voltmeter went to 0. He flipped the ignition boxes to the backup box. The car then did fire, but they were a little alarmed there for a few seconds.
Yeah.
I would be too with the kind of night he's having and the great run he's having, but that's why we have 2 ignition systems in these cars. A lot of guys will say, well, it's a little extra weight. I don't like all those wires. I don't like an extra box. But you can never have too much insurance. And that's what he had there tonight. He had a little insurance policy, and it paid off.
All right. Kerry Earnhardt has made repairs to the Michael Waltrip 99. He is back on track.
Yeah, he didn't, he just barely got into Biffle, so I don't think he hurt his car that much, although I'm thinking he killed the right front fender. He didn't kill it. He just wounded it.
Yeah, workers' comp.
It's okay, Mikey. Don't get all excited if you're still up watching.
That right front is on workers' comp. Jeff Green back in the race after he and Jimmy Johnson crashed while battling for 8th back at lap 89. Now Green is the 34th place car, 51 laps down. Going to take him out of 2nd place in the fight for the championship. Interesting spoiler angle.
Yes, it is.
As a result,
that will make you loose when you lay that spoiler down that far. But still, they did a great job of getting him repaired and getting him back out there.
He and his teammate Jason Keller could end up tied for 3rd when we leave Kentucky.
Now, wouldn't that be something? Yeah. Teammates tied. And what was funny about those, both guys running 1st and 2nd. Keller runs out of fuel, goes a couple laps down, and the next thing you know, Green's in a wreck.
Right. And he got back in that position because he had a bad pit stop.
He had a bad pit stop.
Loose lug nuts. So the halfway drivers only led 5 of the last 15, and the driver leading the most laps has only won 1 of the last 7.
And that's what I'm telling my driver right now, Greg Biffle. Buddy, we still got a chance.
Well,
not much of one, but statistically, we still got a chance.
What's that joke about? There's 3 kinds of numbers: lies, lies, and statistics.
That's what I always told Jeff. Lie to me because the truth's killing me.
All right. You got enough gas, you can make it.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. It'll be 12 laps to race when they come back.
And you can believe one thing. Greg Biffle is going to try to, well, he had a terrible restart, and Tony Raines may jump around him.
Raines had a look to the outside, thought better of it. We're back racing with 12 to go.
Well, I'd say one thing. Harvick was up there and ready to go, but when that green flag came out, he launched out of there. Biffle's got a heck of a run down the back. He's closing in fast.
That's where he's good, Darrell, all the way to the middle of turn 3.
Right here, she takes off with him. If he can just keep it down right there, he might have a shot. Turn the wheel so hard right there to keep the car down, buffs off a lot of speed, and that 2 car just drives on off. Now, it doesn't hurt you so bad here. You got a little bit more turn to work with. Being a little tight on this end of the racetrack's not all that bad. Big turn, a lot of room. You can get out wide, get a good head of steam down the back, close in as you go into 3, drive it in there hard, drive it down in there, hoping that something might happen, but he just can't keep it down right here. Away she goes.
Biffle giving it all it's got. There's only 10 laps to go.
You can really see that Biffle car just will not stay down in the bottom off of turn 4 like you'd like for it to.
Chad Little's all over Ashton Lewis for 5th place, Darrell.
Yeah, he's trying. Everybody right now, they know it's, what do we got here? 10 laps to go. Everybody's giving it all they got.
Chad was right there on his back bumper coming off turn 4.
I think he drove it in a little bit too hard, and she washed out with him, and Ashton Lewis was able to drive away.
Lewis gets a little breathing room.
A lot of times, a guy's got one shot. He figures, I'm going to take it, and if it works, I'm going to be all right. But sometimes it doesn't work.
Ricky Rudd last Sunday at Michigan. One lap to go.
1 lap to go. Maybe I can take him by surprise.
Ricky said if I could have cleared him, he said if the spotter just hollered clear, I could have sealed the deal.
Yeah. There was a point in there when he could have moved up in front of Jeff. Jeff may have had to squeeze out the throttle a little bit, but had him cleared.
Would have been really close.
It'd have been close. It'd been real close, but it'd been fun to see. And this week they're going to pick up right where they left off. You got Rudd on the pole. You got Sterling Marlin out there that ran 3rd last week. But where's Jeff Gordon? Way back. He's in about 14th place, I think.
And you'll see it all tomorrow on Fox beginning 12:30 Eastern Time. And the man who is leading right now will be in the show at Pocono. Here's your pole sitter, Jay Sauter, the Agajanian 43, and number 7, former champ Randy LaJoie, battling for 8th place. Kevin Grubb just in front of them, the 7th place car.
Yeah, they got a real battle going right here for 7th, 8th, and 9th. Everybody wants that 7th spot.
7 laps to
Whoa,
go.
Then 43 car pushed up over there, and here goes LaJoie right underneath and on by. Boys, you got to be careful when you get down here to turn 3. Woo, look at LaJoie. Man,
Yes.
he shot her in there.
Oh, he'll fire it in
He
there.
hammered it.
He will, Darrell.
That would have been a good time to make the old crossover move. Sauter should have tried to get back under him as he shoved it in there.
Yeah, LaJoie's fearless when it comes to getting down in the corner.
Especially at the end of the race, 10 laps to go. Meanwhile, back up front.
0.7 of a second.
And growing. Harvick he just had one of those nights. His car's been good ever since the start of the race. Once he got in the lead, he's never looked back.
And Delana Harvick, another second-generation racer.
Yes, sir.
She is. Her dad, John Paul Linville, ran the old NASCAR late model sportsman division and became Busch Grand National.
And I think Kevin Harvick is a great driver because he and his dad, they built their own cars. They raced out on the West Coast. I believe guys that have owned their own equipment, driven their own cars, they understand when they get an opportunity like Harvick's got right now in Whiskey Cup and Busch, you've got to capitalize on it. All that money of your dad you've been spending, now it's fun to spend somebody else's.
The night ends for Mike McLaughlin, who comes to pit road, a smoking. But he did keep that thing going for nearly the final 30 laps, 26 of them anyway.
He just ran it. He didn't run out anything but oil.
Right.
He ran out of oil. Might come in and drop a couple of quarts in it and go again. Range is right there, not too far behind Harvick or behind Biffle.
Yeah, 4/10.
He closes. But I don't think he's closing fast enough to close the deal.
It's got to be so frustrating, Darrell. He's close enough to reach out and touch, but you just can't get there.
And you want to drive it down in the corner a little harder. You want to get on a little bit quicker, but if the car's not there for you, it doesn't do any good. Matter of fact, it does harm. Sometimes you just got to slow down and go faster. Back off early, float it down in there, and pick the throttle up nice and easy. And a driver will get a little over exuberant at the end of the race, trying to get that other position or two that he thinks he can get. And you actually end up driving too hard. Crew chief, spotter, somebody's got to come on the radio and say, hey man, cool it. You're losing time.
2 laps to go. Kevin Harvick now a full second in front of Greg Biffle. Now on the right of your screen, the 27 car be his second top 10 in 4 races. McMurray was 10th at Nazareth, and a great run for Kevin Grubb as well, right there in 8th place ahead of Jay Sauter. So,
well, that's great equipment that McMurray's driving. That's Casey Atwood's cars from last year, and Casey did an awful good job in those cars just almost every week. I believe McMurray is just going to get better and better. He's getting more experience. The team's getting a little better for him. It's good to see him have great finishes.
half a lap away from the checkered flag, the first for the NASCAR Busch Series at Kentucky in front of a capacity crowd, 70,000 strong. Flashbulbs popping as Kevin Harvick comes off turn 4 for his 2nd win of the season and his 5th career Busch Series win. Biffle's 2nd, Raines is 3rd, Sawyer's 4th, Lewis is 5th, ahead of Chad Little, Randy LaJoie. And then that 3-car battle, which sees Grubb edging Jay Sauter, Jamie McMurray for the top 10. Is that a little love tap there?
Well, that's just Biffle saying, hey, bud, you got me tonight, but don't forget, I'm still here. I'll be here next week when we go again. I don't know what Harvick's doing.
You think it's time to make the donuts?
I don't know. I think it might be time. Maybe he's got a helicopter back there or something. You know, he's got
oh my gosh,
Pocono. It's over by the tunnel. Maybe he's going to hop out and run.
He's sitting right in the midpoint of the backstretch.
I think Biffle did. I think Biffle ran up there and did something to him.
Here he comes. He's getting that arm out the window. A wave to Mike McLaughlin. Wave a little bit of that smoke away. There's a running order at the top of the screen on our Fox ticker. And there's the hand out the window with 3 fingers held high.
He was just waiting for traffic to clear.
Going to come around and honor the memory of Dale Earnhardt in front of this packed grandstand.
It's a great tribute. Driving for Richard Childress. He knows his role. He knows his role as a honor Dale.
And you know, it's not like he's busy enough with the Busch car and the Cup car. He's going to start a truck team to let the fellow who mentored him early in his career, Rick Corelli, have a shot to run for the truck championship.
I just think that's great. Corelli's a great driver. He struggled a little bit since he got injured at Memphis. It's good to see that take place. It's good to see this kid do well. He's a great kid. It's good for the sport. There he goes. Got to do it. Got to get it right here. A little bit of banking sometimes will cause you a problem doing donuts.
Not for this young fella.
Look at the smoke bowl off the back. Look at that.
There's a dozen.
He said, Richard, I didn't tear my car up, but I am going to use your motor up. I did my job, boss. I brought my car back home.
That's about 2 dozen worth of donuts.
I love it.
They're cheaper by the dozen.
Here's another one or two. How about a couple more for you folks? Got a big crowd tonight. You seem to be enjoying this. If I did that to Junior Johnson's car or Rick Hendrick's car, they'd have fired me. Yeah, just have a good, you know, and he's not worried about getting to Pocono.
No.
He's going to sit here and
he's got all night to get there.
Buy everybody a few donuts, a cup of coffee.
You know, Kevin didn't even lead the first 4 races of the year, and he's now led 10 of the last 12. Let's catch up with the second place finisher. Here's Jeff.
Yeah, we caught up with Greg Biffle. Greg, great run from way back in the back.
Yeah, it was. You know, we kind of screwed up qualifying there. Probably cost us a win tonight because we were driving through that traffic the whole night. Didn't really know what we needed to do to the car. We got out front and, you know, found out they were a little bit better than us. So, you know, we made some adjustments on the car. We needed one more pit stop. We could have run with Kevin tonight, but we were getting better at the end there and just needed one more pit stop.
How about right there at the end? Have we seen you went up and gave Kevin a little congratulatory tap, I guess?
Yeah, it was. You know, they did a great job. You know, the hats off to them. They had a great car tonight. And we were just a little bit off, you know, and starting clear back there, we were kind of doomed from the start. But my guys did a great job on pit stops, and we kept adjusting on the car tonight. And Granger Ford ran great. And I'm just happy to be up here second after that where we started.
Congratulations on a great run.
Thank you.
Biffle second tonight will move up into second in the points past Jeff Green, who had trouble on a pit stop and then got into a wreck while battling for 8th place. Kevin Harvick pulls into our MBNA winner's circle with his 5th Busch Series win. It's his 9th top 5 and 10th top 10 in 16 races. He's led the most laps in 4 of the last 5 events. He led the halfway lap, and he did win. He led the most laps, and he did win. So take your statistics.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see you at Pocono tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right.
That's enough statistics.
Yeah. That's what I like about statistics.
There's the Hutchins device that Childress engineer Bobby Hutchins says that short track and amateur racers will be able to order that supplementary restraint system starting on Monday. We'll try to have some details for you tomorrow on that during our Fox telecast from Pocono.
You know what they call him? They call him Happy.
Well,
wonder why.
Yeah.
How about it, Matt? Maybe ask him.
Well, they certainly are happy down here. Well, Kevin, you told us we would have a lot to talk about you tonight. You were sure right.
I tell you what, you know, we had Mike Bliss here helping us, and he got stuck in a hard situation, and you know, the pressure was on us in case I didn't show up, and we crashed our backup car. But you know, there's a lot of people I got to thank. This AC Delco Chevy was awesome all night long. But you know, we came here last year and did a lot of testing for Dale Earnhardt for General Motors, and you know, this is just pretty awesome to be back in Victory Lane.
How perfect!
I'm even getting down to.
How perfect was that race car? Did you guys have to adjust on it much tonight?
We adjusted half a pound on the left side tires, and that was it, man. You look good all wet. They always say, Richard says it's a good flight home if you got champagne and beer, all of you. So we're just, I just can't say enough. These AC Delco guys, Chevrolet, Sylvania, awesome, Sonic. I don't even know where to start, but to come back from what these guys came back from, and me only be here for a little bit, and
shows the strength of this team.
Let's off to Pocono. Maybe another win tomorrow, Mike.
Saw Richard Childress. There's car owner Childress giving him a big hug. Let's have a look at the results from tonight's Outback Steakhouse 300 in Kentucky.
Childress said, hey, I think we broke even, buddy.
How about a great run for Ashton Lewis there,
Yes, sir.
ending up in 5th place. Strong run for Kevin Grubb. Jamie McMurray, another top 10 there. Hank, Bobby Hamilton, Kelly Denton finishing on the lead lap. Great job. Jason Keller 1 down. Ricky Hendrick a lap down. Not a bad ride. Brad Baker gets a top 20 finish. Kerry Earnhardt, after damage, ends up in the top 20, as does Larry Foyt. And a look back through the finishers. Very high attrition rate, Darrell, with 9 caution flags.
Well, it's not unusual for a new racetrack. You know, everybody searching for the setup. Some guys hit it like Harvick. Other guys are still looking for it.
Well, we'll catch up with the Busch Series again in Milwaukee in 2 weeks' time. But tomorrow, we're at Pocono for the Pocono 500 on Fox. There are the points. Greg Biffle up 1. Jeff Green down 1. Well, let's catch the chopper, DW. We're off to Pocono.
Let's go to the Roval.
The road course oval.
The road course oval. Be shifting some gears, slipping and sliding. Ricky Rudd on the pole. Sterling Martin outside. I can't wait for tomorrow. Good Winston Cup racing, babe.
For Matt Yoakum, Jeff Hammond, Darrell Waltrip immortalized in statuary outside turn 3. Mike Joy congratulating Kevin Harvick. We'll talk to you tomorrow with Winston Cup racing from Pocono on Fox.
See you in the morning, folks.